you a lot of times people will apologize and stuff like that, and again they'll go right back to it. But then there's also the person that's kind of like, all right, I know I fucked up. I'm just not even gonna address it.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
it's cowardly shit.
like I'm gonna brush that underneath the rug and just make a little joke after. Now you've chipped off a block, and now your credibility as a person is gone even more.
So the question is, why does it matter? You know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
Like, why would it matter to anybody who recognizes this flaw, that they use destructive language on occasion?
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
Because there's some, yes or no, there's some people who just walk around who talk all this shit all the time and they act like it doesn't matter to them.
Of course.
Like, do you think they make a conscious decision, or they know that what they're doing and they just don't care?
There's two sides of that.
Okay.
There's two types of people. Oftentimes that comes from insecurity. If you're walking around and you got to knock people down left, right, and center, I don't care how much money you're worth. I don't care how built you are, how pretty you think you are, whoever you think you are, you're one insecure little dude or person. Mm-hmm. If you have to go around making jabs and knocks at people and stuff, and that's your way to go around about it, that's coming from insecurity. A lot of comedians, they will tell you, a lot of my jokes obviously that's my defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Against a bully. I can't defend myself against this friggin' 6'3", grade 10, 250 pounder that's going to pound my face, but I can make him look like an idiot in front of the whole school.
Yeah, that's your weapon.
That's my weapon. Welcome back to Behind the Strength, where we help you with your health, wealth, and peace of mind. I'm Christian Alvarez.
And I'm Carlo Balagase.
Welcome back to the show. And if you're brand new here, we are two entrepreneurs from Toronto, Ontario. That's in Canada, for those of you who don't know, who own a fitness and therapy business. And we've been going strong for 8 years. We grew literally from a 1,200 square foot small little home mom and pop facility to a now multi-million-dollar gym. And we are going global. But we are growing this year to a second location to Mississauga, and look out for another 4 of them in the next year.
Yeah.
At least.
And look at wherever you're listening. I know a lot of Americans are listening too, so we're going to be out in your neighborhood pretty soon, next 5 to 10 years.
So we appreciate y'all. That's the support, great, guys. Thank you for all the referrals. For any suggestions on topics, we welcome them. You can find us on...
you could hit us up on Instagram at StrengthenU, STRENGTH, the letter N, the letter U. That's the best way to hit us up.
But anyway, today we're going to be talking about something very serious. And this is a very, very commonly overlooked thing because we all do this. And we're talking about the destructive language or destructive comments you make in a single day to your spouse, to your partners, to your friends, to your coworkers that you don't even know is tarnishing your relationship. Right? There's so many things that we say in a day, and even little abrupt little comments underneath our breath or make little jokes and jabs at people. Understand that little by little, you're chipping away at your relationship with them. Right?
Even if it's just a joke?
Even if it's just a joke.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Understand it's all in how it's delivered. Mm-hmm. That's a huge thing of it. But people can tell when a joke has an actual meaning behind it. Mm-hmm. There's a certain feeling you get when somebody makes a jab at you and you're like, this isn't so much of a jab anymore. He actually feels this deep down. He just doesn't want to say it to me. So his only way of saying it, because a lot of people are not comfortable in speaking and being honest. Say, hey, you know what, man? You've dropped the ball multiple times right now. What can we do? What's happened in the last little while? Let's just say, right, for a work situation. As opposed to being like, yeah, well, there's Carlo. That guy could barely keep the ball in his hands, right? You know what I mean? Hey, there's the guy that's always late, Carlo, right?
Yeah.
He's not reliable.
I've caught myself doing stupid shit like that, like saying stuff like that.
Yeah, we do it all the time, and I think everybody does it. It's in the nature of again our environment around us, and I think it makes for a lot of awkward situations to be a little bit easier when you jab or joke or whatever about it, as opposed to let's get down and serious and let's talk about it.
Well, in our, say, for example, our work environment, we talk a lot of shit to each other. We jab at each other all the time, and it's fun. It's fun. But you're right. It's especially when you jab at somebody, and it's kind of like, yo, you're trying to let them know something. Or calling them out on something, but you're joking, but they should listen to what you're saying at the same time.
It actually creates animosity in both ways. One, for the person that just keeps jabbing, that doesn't have the decency to be honest with you, and two, you're deep down now questioning yourself every time you leave my site. You're like, yo, man, this guy always makes the same comment to me. What the fuck's up with this guy? Does he have a real problem with me, or what's going on here, right?
So the question is, the problem lies with two people, I guess, with both people.
Yeah, both.
Why do you think people resort to making these destructive comments?
As I said, it's the lack of communication skills or the lack of comfortability in communicating something. Because there are such things as a hard conversation, so to speak. But it's only a hard conversation because you sold it to yourself that it's a hard conversation already. A conversation is just a conversation. There's no good or bad conversation. It's just a conversation.
Yeah.
If I'm going to tell you, hey, listen, Carlo, you know what? You're a great, you're, top of the food chain when it comes to work ethic, when it comes to this and that. But honestly, your practice in the last week, man, you've slept in multiple times. You no-showed on me on one of this and one of that, right?
Yeah.
You haven't showed up to your class in the last 3 days, right? And you're usually a 5-day-a-week person here. If I can't tell you that, it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
Right. But of course, a lot of people feel like, hold on, I'm gonna get a wall up from the other person. Like there's gonna be a guard up there for sure, and that's also in the delivery, right? But people resort to that because they're very uneasy about talking about something serious.
Well, what I noticed too for myself back in the day, because I never really managed people at all or had to deal with people. I started with the engineering things, managing multiple kind of trades and stuff like that. And I think one of the biggest problems for me personally was, to do that, like to have that awkward conversation, and you start building animosity at the same time because what do you mean? Like, this person should know that they should do this. They should be like, how come you feel like they're doing stuff against you sometimes, especially in relationships.
Well, that's where it comes from, like a lot of times, right?
When in reality they're doing their own thing. They have their own needs and stresses and projects and all that stuff. But then if you keep that in all the time, the only way to really communicate at that point when it bottles up, is you lash out pretty much.
Yes.
You kind of build animosity, and then you start thinking, oh, this person always does this. Like you're in the box pretty much.
Yes,
right?
I actually had written that on there.
Yeah. You're pretty much like trying to make a list of all these things that this person now has done you wrong, and how bad of a worker they are, or how bad of a person they are, just to justify your feeling.
So let's give back it up and let's give an example. It's just because I recently read this in a book. It's called what got you here won't get you there, right? And in the book they talk about a lot about this whole destructive language. Such a simple thing. Husband and wife wants to go out for dinner. Husband wants to go to his burger place. She wants to go to her Italian place with her, pizzas and stuff like that. This guy's in his head saying, you know what? This place sucks. We always get bad service and overcooked food. Ends up, you go to that restaurant. Sure enough, you get to the restaurant. What do you get? Bad service and overcooked food. So instead of just shutting the fuck up and enjoying your time and evening for the fact that, hey, we can actually do this, go out and eat dinner and whatever, and spend this time, which a lot of people don't get to do. Mm-hmm. You're there saying, see, I told you we should have gone somewhere else because look at this fucking overcooked pizza and this food's terrible. Look at the service. I haven't seen us in 5 minutes. So making all those little jabs, what you're actually doing is you're tarnishing your relationship. And like you said, it's just building every one. Remember, that's just one day. One date.
That's one.
That's one moment in a date.
Moment,
that's
man.
one moment. That's not to say what you're going to say on your drive home after, on your walk to the car. Because you could just be like, oh, I totally hate that restaurant. I hate this fucking area. And like there's like now it's like everything, you said, you're looking for reasons to justify my feeling.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah. Oh, I told you it's raining out now. We shouldn't have even gone out tonight. Yeah. It's like it's all. But the thing is, we very rarely have it in us to sit down or to stay for one moment. Just be like, all right, should I make that comment? Maybe I should back that up for a second, right? Or just I'll just shut up and just actually enjoy this moment. It's not that simple. It's really not.
It's actually really hard, man.
It's really not that simple.
It's actually really hard because when you're in that emotional state, you just become this like, I don't know, man, this big ball of asshole or something.
Of course, because now you start like everything becomes like a negative to you.
Yeah, but then you're so justified. You feel like,
oh, we hit a red light because of you now.
Yeah. You're so justified that everything. Like you feel like things are owed to you, and that's such a bad thing to be. How many people do we know that are like that in their entire life?
Yes.
Like that's how they are.
Yes, but think about us who, I don't know, let's just say if there's a lot of people that are like that overall in their whole life. But imagine a person who's generally, pretty good and just like easy go, happy go lucky and easy going and whatever. Even they still do it. So just imagine if a person who is normally easygoing will make these little comments. Imagine how much more another person who's like totally into that world, who's so destructive in their own mind. Where that comes from is internal language and internal dialogue. We always go back to this. Conor McGregor, with that interview that he had with Tony Robbins, nailed it right on. It's the internal language. It's what you say to yourself. If you have destructive language in your mind and ingrained in you, in your body, those become your beliefs about yourselves. Your world is shitty.
So the self-talk that
Number one, the world is shitty. My body feels like shit today. You know what? I'm not in the same shape as I used to be. Oh, I'm a little sluggish today. Today's so gloomy. And that starts to obviously offset on people, right? Next thing you know, I'm going to feed that into you. Hey, man, such a shitty day out, isn't it? Yeah, like everything's going so slow. We've seen it. We've seen it in our colleagues here. We've seen it in our members here. We've seen it in our relationships, right? You take a group of friggin' people in one day and it's dark and gloomy out and it's raining. All it takes is one person to start that roll.
Yeah.
And it just comes off.
Or
starts to multiply.
you by thinking this all the time, you start creating your environment, and now you start, you're
you gear
like, hey
towards
Christian, this the weather sucks today.
Yeah, you gear
and
that.
then you're trying to like, create
transmits.
this. Yeah, it transmits that frequency, that negative
frequency, right? And the biggest thing is this. It's a two-sided, because it's even worse than that, than actually making the comments. Okay, and I'm very, very guilty of this. I may make a comment, not realize it at the time, walk away. 5 minutes later, 3 minutes, 2 minutes later, I'll talk to that same person with a different tone. Oh my God, did you see that episode of so-and-so? Oh my God, did you happen to catch that? And they're like, wait a minute, dude. You just made a complete asshole comment to me 5 minutes ago, and you think it's cool that they may not say anything.
Yeah.
But it stays with them.
But that energy is there too, right?
The energy's still there, and it stays with them. So though a lot of us make these little destructive comments and these negative comments, we're actually leaving and feeding it, and again, transmitting it to others. Meanwhile, we think it's cool. Oh, we're just going to pass by the next one. Okay, so next conversation. So though we may brush it off, a lot of people internally, digest that crap, right?
So what is the long-term negative effects of this destructive language for a lot of people that they don't realize?
Well, everything. Your body breaks down, your mind breaks down, your life breaks down, because you're going to think your life is shit. First of all, like, there's nobody that out there with a positive state of mind or a good state of mind. I'm not going to say positive state of mind, because a good state of mind means you're going to go through ups and downs, and you're going to be willing to and knowingly how to handle this, or I'm going to feel this. Though I'm feeling this, I'm going to work my way back up to feeling better. There's going to be happy moments in your day. There's going to be sad moments in your day, right? But now if you're carrying this one little thing that happened over, let's just say dinner, you're going to carry it into tonight, into this evening, into tomorrow morning, into your day. You're going to go into work. You're going to be in a crappy mood, right?
Yeah.
That's just going to transmit.
Sometimes it's a whole week's
It's a whole week,
man.
That's what it is. And that could be in a relationship, in a friendship, in a working relationship, right?
Yeah.
That's in all ways. So a lot of it does come from, like we said, it takes a lot of self-consciousness and being in the moment to be like, wait a minute, I know what I'm feeling. I identify the fact that I'm a little angry about this right now because I said this fucking restaurant's horrible, it's overcooked food and bad service. Do I need to state that again? She knows how I feel about the restaurant. Do I need to state that over and over again, how shitty the night went and how slow the service was and how, how hot it was in there or how cold it was outside? Right? Do I need to state that? Is that something that's going to either, every exchange, agree with me or not, with a person, either brings you closer together or brings you further together?
Yeah,
agree with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it either brings you closer together or pulls you apart. Every interaction. Now it's up to you to leave off either a positive or a negative interaction with each person that you come across every single day. Be fucking responsible, because that is up to you, right? So when you're doing that, you got to think about yourself and your state. If I do make all these comments right now, if I was to say what I really wanted to say, is that going to leave me with a negative comment or with a negative outcome out of this? And therefore, we're either going to be pulling away a little further, or is that going to leave me with a more positive outcome? We're kind of like, you know what? We got through this. was so bad. It was a great evening. I had some terrible food. The waitress was fucking out to lunch, probably smoking butts outside. That's cool.
You could have fun with it.
Yeah,
You could laugh about it. Right?
We went outside, barely paid our check, and the guy smoking cigarettes, talking to his buddy with a beer.
Yeah.
Okay, we knew that that's a place, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if I worked here too, maybe I can get away with drinking a couple for free,
Yeah.
right? So there's so many ways to approach it, right? And a lot of it is being self-conscious. The toughest thing to do, like catching yourself in the moment, right?
That's the hardest thing.
And we're not
when
talking
you're
about
so emotional, or when you're not emotional, and you just
that's
you
what
know,
it is.
It's
It's
the
not
hard
even
part.
about the emotion, like when you're in anger or fear or whatever it is. It's you're deeper in. But we're talking about every day and passing and just walking and just, you make a little bit of a thing. Mm-hmm. Once you get into the anger and the fear and all that, and by the way, guys, those all coincide. Anger, fear, the spirit, like that all comes from the same feeling of uncertainty, right? Of lack of control, right? And feeling almost like you're suffocating. All those things stem from those three feelings.
Yeah.
Suffocation, lack of control, and uncertainty. For every time a person's feeling like that, they're closed off. And so are you. That
100%.
Energy will transmit. And remember, anytime you have an interaction with a person, you could either leave the interaction with having that person be closer to you or more separated from you.
Mm-hmm. Well, because now that you're putting out that energy, you say
Yeah.
you use destructive language towards somebody else, that now is going to put their guard up. And yeah, man, like that line of communication just totally just is cut off.
Yeah.
It's going to be cut off, especially if the other person is, in that state as well.
Yes.
There's one thing where if you're using destructive language and that other person is in a solid state and more positive state and they won't let it affect the conversation. But usually a lot of people, especially say in workplace or your spouse, there's always that need to be right or heard supersedes anything else.
Yes.
You know?
And I was just going to actually touch base on that because there's an old saying of think before you speak, and it's the truth.
Yeah.
Because when you think before you speak, you're able to say what you mean, and you actually mean what the hell you say.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, the right things come out at the right times, and not those simple conversations of let's just say supposedly hard conversations come out a lot easier because you come out of a certain place, and you come from a place of genuineness. Like, listen, man, the team's thinking you're dropping the ball. Mm-hmm. It's not just me. I'm not just going to make jabs at you. The team's saying, what's going on right now? Do you need a hand with something?
Yeah.
Is it like your work overload, or you got like 5 different things on your plate? Let me take one off you, man. That might help you a little bit, no? Yeah. So that's a big thing, right? As opposed to, listen, man, you've been dropping the ball like crazy. You're not the best worker here right now, and right, you're always late.
You fucking suck. What are you doing?
You fucking suck. What the hell's going on, right?
Yeah, you're gonna get traded to another team.
Yeah, you're gonna get traded, right? To D team.
Yeah.
Right, and that's a big thing. So it's really being in that moment to be like, all right, I really got to think about this right now before I even speak anything. Yeah. And there's a huge thing. We're never gonna be perfect on this. We say be conscious, whatever, but if you catch yourself being an asshole or saying an asshole comment, the best thing you can do to you can't always revive a relationship, okay? So each time you kind of tarnish it a little bit, the chip is bigger than what you can fucking rebuild it with. Understand that. Yeah. So saying sorry and whatever, though they may truly accept it and you may actually be truly apologetic, never puts that chip back as thick. Maybe a fraction of it, a quarter of it, a fifth of it, whatever you want to say. Right? And everybody here in this world who has had any sort of relations with humans know this, right? The moment you chip off trust, you're never going to fucking put that back in the same piece ever again, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you do, the least you can do for this person to show that you're actually genuine is apologize for it. And not only just apologize for it, but correct what it was that you did. Meaning you actually make a conscious effort not to do that again. Or to minimize the use of your destructive language or comments or jabs or whatever it is.
Well, action speaks louder than words. You know?
Sir.
So if the other person is kind of like, you got to show me. The only way we can mend this relationship is by you showing me that you're actively doing it. Because that's one of the biggest things where people could always say sorry and then, a week later they're back at it.
And you know what the thing is too? If you, a lot of times people will apologize and stuff like that. And again, they'll go right back to it. But then there's also the person that's kind of like, all right, I know I fucked up. I'm just not even going to address it.
Yeah,
just gonna-
it's cowardly shit.
Like, I'm going to brush that underneath the rug and just make a little joke after. Now you've chipped off a block, and now your credibility as a person is gone even more.
Yeah.
Because one, did you not only make, say, one little destructive comment that would have caused a big spiral in that person's life and mentally, because now they have this thought about you, right? Oh, that's what you really think of me. Okay, cool, right? But now your credibility is in general, because there's one thing to say something out of feeling, out of anger, out of fear. Again, coming from that place, you may just blurt something out. And sometimes you don't even feel like that's the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, fuck, I hate you, man. Like, I hate this. And you don't. You're just saying it out of, again, that place. But if you don't even recognize it, it's not just about apologizing. It's recognizing the fact, I actually screwed up. My language was bad. The way I acted was horrible. It was childish. And it shouldn't happen. But I am going to work to amend that. And through my actions being better is how I'll try to, gain your trust back, your friendship back.
I mean, so the question is, why does it matter? You know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
Why would it matter to anybody who recognizes this flaw, that they use destructive language on occasion?
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
Because there's some, yes or no, there's some people who just walk around who talk all this shit all the time and they act like it doesn't matter to them.
Of course.
Do you think they make a conscious decision, or they know that what they're doing and they just don't care?
There's two sides of that.
Okay.
There's two types of people. Oftentimes that comes from insecurity. All the time it comes from insecurity. If you're walking around and you got to knock people down left, right, and center, I don't care how much money you're worth. I don't care how built you are, how pretty you think you are, whoever you think you are, you're one insecure little dude. Or person. If you have to go around making jabs and knocks at people and stuff, and that's your way to go around about it, that's coming from insecurity. A lot of comedians, they will tell you, a lot of my jokes obviously that's my defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Against a bully. I can't defend myself against this friggin' 6'3", grade 10, 250 pounder that's gonna pound my face, but I can make him look like an idiot in front of the whole school.
Yeah, that's your weapon.
That's my weapon. Right? A lot of comedians, and they've made millions and billions of dollars off fucking comedy because of insecurity. But those little jabs and stuff like that, yes, like for a comedy show, cool. But like when you're starting to actually do that with everybody around you, understand that's coming from insecurity, homie.
You'll see clearly. A self-audit would be like, how many close people are actually around me? How many real valuable friendships am I surrounded with? And maybe, if you don't have a lot, maybe that's one of the reasons, because you use destructive language that kind of deteriorates friendships. And now people, a lot of times people won't really shun you. They'll just really minimize the amount of time they spend with you.
It just pushes your relationships away every time you do it. You know what I mean? So, take it from your past experiences. Even do, like, when we talk about an audit, like, take it from how many people were you close to in the last, how many years, 10 years ago, 5 years ago? How many of those people are you still close to today? And yes, life happens and whatever, but why? Like, what was it? I'm sure that there was one relationship, at least in the last 5 years, that you yourself have tarnished through the use of destructive language or negative comments or just a negative energy or just a lack of, even trying.
Yeah.
Right? Because lack of trying just means it's like, whatever, right? So, that in itself is, Yeah. So there's a lot, to be said about a person that actually will self-assess themselves. And that really starts with being right here, right now. So as you finish listening to this, look at your next interaction through today. And just before you're about to make some jab or little comment, catch yourself, stop yourself, and think, what will this do to this relationship? Even in a minute, cellular level, what will it do to this relationship if I was to make that? And what will I save, right? Or what will I gain if I don't actually make that?
It's a valuable thing. Really identify the type of language you use often, and then find other words to kind of portray what you're feeling in a more positive way.
Yeah.
Right? In a more less destructive way.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Great leaders.
Christian, you're being an asshole today.
Yeah.
I could say, hey, Christian, you're being a little bit more negative than you usually are. Is there anything wrong? Like that's two totally different conversations there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like self-assessment, one, when you're doing it. Second, what language are you using? And third, like what alternative?
Because the thing is,
it's like sales,
the
right?
reason why the two things, like what matters. So say it again, the first one. Christian, you're being an asshole.
Christian, you're an asshole. You're being an asshole.
Okay, so what that tells me is that I'm personally being hurt by the way you're acting right now, or you're affecting me. So you're being an asshole and you're damaging me.
Yeah.
The second being,
you're being what was I saying? You're being a little bit more negative. What's wrong?
which comes from a place of now sincerity and concern. Is there something wrong with you? The focus is not that you're harming me or you're damaging me.
No,
it's kind of like
I'm worried about you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's just me, but I think, are you okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, man, listen, it's your state too, right? If you're being an asshole to me, and let's say I just got laid by the hottest girl in the world that I loved, or whatever, right? That I wanted to get with. I don't give a shit what you say. It's not going to affect me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to affect me at all. So depending on my state, if I'm happy, you could say whatever you want to me.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So, and that's I think that's a huge thing. Again, going back to the being in the box thing, it's really the situation is based on you now and the other person receiving it as well. If you're, again, we didn't even talk about this, like, you know, the person receiving that negative language. You know, just know that it's never been about you. It's not it's really the mechanism inside that other person that you got to look at. And I know it's hard. It's hard because sometimes you feel like you're weak. You're letting somebody walk all over you. But who's really the weak person that needs to jab at people? You know, it's like in martial arts, a real master won't go around the recess and start beating people up. The insecure kids are the ones that are doing that. You know, so it's the same thing. If a strong, confident person will never let other people's state and negative language affect them.
Well, that's again a look and a focus on the internal part of me, because again, the martial arts master doesn't care if you're 100 pounds or 300 pounds. I'm just gonna focus on what I know, my technique, my breathing, my calmness. I'm gonna defeat you like that, whether you're 150 or 300 pounds.
Exactly.
Same way we look at clients, you know, and you're in competition. It's kind of like, listen, who cares what, like Michael Phelps will tell you, I don't know what the next person beside me is doing or thinking when I'm, you know, in my sprint in the pool. Like, all I'm thinking is my body extended enough. Am I still breathing, right? I don't care if I'm first, second, third, or whatever. Am I just focusing on what I need to do?
Yes.
My internal.
Yes.
Right? Am I breathing properly? Because I'm panic breathing now. Oh, okay, that's where the fear, the insecurity comes from. That's where that negative language comes from, right? So it's a lot of focus on yourself. And when we say that, it's not about the selfishness. It's more so the internal cues that you have inside you, your language, and that's what transmits at the end of the day to people, right? There's a lot in this podcast. We certainly hope you got a lot from it. If you did, can you please refer us to people? Because we love helping people. We do this for free. We don't ask for anything. We've been through a lot. We're currently doing some big things in life and in our business, and we're helping a lot of people, you know, creating a lot of opportunities. So we definitely want to spread that love and positivity to people. If you can just refer us and
hit us up at StrengthenYou on Instagram, StrengthNU, or hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, anything. We're around our website, www.strength-n-u.com, StrengthenYou.com.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers.